Hi, I'm Tony Makas, and we're going to look behind the scenes of advertising at some of the scientific techniques used to influence you. We're going to show how ads try to psych you out. Timing and repetition are important. For example, consider a televised movie, say a weeknight special. The first 15 or 20 minutes might be without ads. That's to involve you, to build a loyal audience. Once an audience is safely captured, ads appear more frequently. By the end of the movie, they might be less than 10 minutes apart. How much television time do you think is advertising? Perhaps a few minutes an hour? The answer, about 20%. So during a 2-hour movie, you spend 1 of every 5 minutes watching ads. Oh sure, advertisers know viewers leave the room during the ads. One way they get around that is to plant ads within movies by way of paid brand name exposures. Companies pay to have their products seen in popular films. When a leading character uses a clearly identifiable brand of soft drink or beer, or eats a recognizable snack, you can be fairly sure it's a paid insertion. The more obvious the brand name, the more certain you can be. Some films feature over 100 paid insertions. So ads work by sheer volume. Take this magazine, for example. It's typical. I'm separating the ad pages from the editorial content. Over half the magazine is advertising. The result? Up to 70% of all pages in leading consumer magazines, Time, Sports Illustrated, Newsweek, contain paid advertising. Newspapers are similar. Here's a Sunday paper from Chicago. This pile, advertising. This one, news. An average newspaper contains more paid advertising, about 60%, than news. And some of the news comes from corporate press releases, a form of free advertising. You've listened to top 40 radio stations, no doubt. A typical hour includes 10 to 20 minutes of ads. And you could consider music advertising, since radio play drives the sales of CDs and tapes. Radio survived the threat of television by becoming an advertising medium for popular music. Daytime television embraced game shows that could carry product plugs under the guise of prizes awarded contestants. Companies pay to have their prize seen and mentioned on a game show. It's another form of advertising. So if you're an average media user, you will spend several years of your life watching and listening to ads. Ads are everywhere, a constant part of your environment. But their very abundance creates a problem. How to capture your attention. Animals react to sudden sounds and changes in movement. It's a survival instinct. So do people. We notice changes in pictures and sounds. We pay attention to loud noises and bright colors, perhaps out of ancient survival instincts. Advertisers use this habit of perception to grab our attention. We notice change. This is pure visual change without information. This much change is unavoidable. In fact, if you had to watch this in a dark room all day, you would become ill. But advertisers use this principle to grab your attention. Here are the opening seconds from a series of TV commercials. Watch how eye-popping graphics and attention-getting sounds capture interest.
I won't wear anything.
Fresher. You've got the
Okay, so the ad has your attention. But you probably believe that advertising influences you very little. But ads often work beneath your level of conscious awareness. So those who believe themselves immune to ads are the perfect unprotected target. Advertisers research how we feel about their products and tailor their ads to those feelings. This study is called psychographics. For example, the target audience for motorbikes is teenage or young adult. Psychographic research reveals that for this audience, life often revolves around questions, from the important to the trivial. Teens often feel bombarded, perhaps overwhelmed by questions. So how can an advertiser identify a bike with this feeling? Well, here's one way.
Honda Elite 50. If it's not the answer, at least it's not another question.
The ad presents the scooter as an escape from the bombardment of questions. Before the days of psychographic research, this ad would have explained the features of the bike. Research reveals that we all value success, so advertisers strive to position their products as part of our success. But people define success differently. The Army often advertises during football games. In this ad, they invite you to imagine yourself as the quarterback in the game of war. The appeal here is to join the Army and experience success.
It isn't the night or even the fog that gets you. It's when the team leader puts you in charge for the first time. And you decide to drop right inside Alpha Team's backyard. That's when you find out how good you really are.
So maybe you're too old for the Army. Well, how are you going to experience success? Perhaps your credit card can confer the badge of success.
Hey, his boots come a long way for one day.
Without a hitch.
That's not what I hear.
What?
At the airport, someone swiped your wallet.
Oh, right.
What about your client dinner tonight? You know, you're sitting on the biggest order of the year.
Is Mr. Moore here?
I'm Chris Moore.
I've got you a replacement card in cash from American Express.
Thanks a lot. Yes.
How did you do that?
Only one card gives you the privileges of membership. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
I'm seated behind a desk at an ad agency. Advertisers take nearly identical products and make people think, even passionately believe, that one is superior to the other. Imagine for now that this is your desk, that you are the creative director of an ad agency. Here comes a potential client. She's a brand manager with a large consumer goods company and wants you to design an ad campaign.
Here are the two leading brands of soap. And here's our new brand that we want you to sell. Let me give you a few facts before you take on the job. What we have here is just another soap, pretty much like our old one. We've changed the shape, the color, and the fragrance. We've given it the name New Age. Your job is to make consumers view New Age as superior to the competition, to make it number one. You should know we've done extensive research on soap, and we found no relation between sales and how well the brand cleans. We don't think a better soap will sell better. In other words, we need better advertising, not better soap. In fact, in one experiment, all we changed was the fragrance, and our test subjects rated the new brand better at cleaning than the old. Of course, it wasn't any better at all. What we've learned from our research is that even if we did formulate a soap that really cleaned better, consumers probably wouldn't recognize it as superior. So we want to hire you to make people believe that this ordinary soap is superior. Can you do it?
Could you work the ad magic necessary to turn ordinary soap into the best? We made up her soap brand, but her comments about product testing are true. The brand manager's soap is a parity product. That means New Age is on a par with, about the same as, the competition. Lots of products you see advertised fit that description. Before we try to sell soap, I'll let you in on a little secret. Research shows that if you remove packaging and brand names from similar products, many people can't tell them apart. You've seen taste tests between the two leading brands of cola. The ads tell you brand B was chosen over brand A. What they don't tell you is that such tests also reveal many people can't tell the brands apart. Some even chose the brand they claim to hate. What this means is their strong preference is built on perception and ad-created images, not purely taste. One scientific study used food dye to make white and red wines both look red. The study found that even most experienced wine drinkers couldn't tell which was which. The power to label is the power to control feelings. Let me tell you about a psychology experiment that does not involve advertising, but explains the principle at work here. Various classes in a college psychology department were introduced to a guest lecturer for the day. The same guest lecturer appeared before 3 classes and delivered the same brief lecture. After each appearance, the class was given a pop quiz, but surprisingly, the quiz was not on the content of the lecture. Instead, it contained only one question: estimate the height of the guest lecturer. Here's the catch. The only difference among the 3 appearances was the introduction. To the first class, the visitor was identified as a psychology student. To the second class, he was introduced as a teacher of psychology. But to the third class, he was identified as a professor at Cambridge University. Remember, the same man appeared before all 3 classes. How do you think the estimates of his height differed from class to class? We've rounded off the fractions, but here are the averages. When introduced as merely a student of psychology, he was estimated at 5 feet 10 inches. As a teacher of psychology, he grew to 5 feet 11 and a half inches. And when given the prestigious title of professor at Cambridge University, he grew to slightly over 6 feet tall. In other words, the label applied to him, his brand name if you want, changed how people perceived him. The higher his status, the taller he became in the eyes of the listeners. Now, what does this have to do with advertising? Advertising and marketing influence how you perceive the product. Brand names are familiar names. They work because we feel safer with the familiar. Take soap, for example. Go back around the turn of the century. At this time, brand names barely existed. Back then, you would walk into the local grocery store, and remember, this is before self-service was invented, and the grocer would cut a pound of soap off a huge block and wrap it in brown paper. Soap was soap. No Dial, Zest, Dove, or Ivory yet. But soon, soap makers realized that if their soap had a name, people might ask for it. And if people asked for it, the grocer had to carry it. And if the grocers carried it, people would buy it. That brand name system still drives our marketplace. Today, soap is a brand name. Advertising can lead you to believe one parody product is superior. They do it all the time. Let's see how an ad agency might turn our ordinary soap into one consumers believe to be superior.
We could take a scientific approach and claim testing by an independent laboratory shows that no other leading brand cleans better than New Age.
How can you say that when you don't know what the lab will find?
The lab would no doubt find them all alike in cleaning power, so to say that no other leading brand cleans better is the same as saying they all work just fine. Any brand can make the same claim. Ads do that all the time.
We could do that, but I don't think science sells soap. People see soap as a personal item. People won't buy this soap because some guy in a white coat tells them to. They will buy if we use emotion. Let's show absolutely gorgeous people using New Age and feeling happy and delighted. In other words, New Age makes you feel good about yourself. That way, instead of selling soap, we sell hope.
I think you're right. Our research shows that people do react to emotional advertising more strongly than to factual ads.
So you're saying that we reward the viewer for watching the ad by making them feel good, and that positive emotional state will eventually lead to increased sales?
Sure. People buy products because they identify with, or at least want to identify with, the people they see using the product. So we have to use beautiful people in attractive settings.
Ah, yes, emotions and ads. Emotion gets around people's built-in skepticism. Let me demonstrate. Once all coffee advertising was about taste. Now, ads associate a brand name with an emotion people feel when they drink coffee. They hope viewers identify with an emotional moment. Watch. These ads aimed at women helped boost sales by 11% during a time of overall declining coffee sales. The ads connect coffee drinking with pleasant feelings. They say, it's okay to reward yourself with our coffee.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. DuPont plastic could help make artificial limbs that were more resilient.
And you feel a lump in your throat, you feel a little tear in your eye. Tremendously high impact emotion, and we've never seen that emotion fail in an ad.
And some say he hasn't lost a step.
Another way ads work around your defenses is called positioning. That means advertising a product so it is clearly intended for a segment of the audience. Take our New Age soap, for example. Our ad people can give you some ideas.
You need to decide if you want to sell the soap to everybody or position it for one segment of the market. Now, you said you wanted to make New Age the leading brand. Let me suggest a different strategy. I've done some background research that shows people relate to soap in 3 main ways. I suggest you create 3 brands, one for each segment of the market. The brands would be basically the same soap, but with different names, shapes, colors, and fragrances.
You're saying this soap should be marketed sort of like toothpaste. They market different brands to match how people react to toothpaste. For instance, some people use toothpaste because they're scared to death of trips to the dentist or tooth decay. Others use it to protect a beautiful smile. Still others use toothpaste because it helps clean their breath in the morning. So a major toothpaste maker will sell more than one brand, each aimed at a specific market segment. They feel that they can sell more toothpaste that way than with one brand for everyone.
Right. This is basic marketing, you know. Here's an example I discovered the other day. Here are 2 cold tablets from one company with different brand names. One is Plus, one is Sinus. Now, the 2 are priced differently. The Sinus is over $1 more than the Plus. The ingredients reveal the 2 are identical. The only real difference is one is green and the other is yellow. Now, this is a marketing strategy I think you could use to sell soap.
So you mean we should give this soap 3 distinct personalities and 3 names?
Exactly. Our research shows that many people, especially women, see soap as a kind of personal luxury, a cosmetic. They'll use a new bar of fragrant soap as a way of pampering themselves, as a reward. Another segment sees soap and bathing as a kind of ritual cleansing. The cleansing prepares them for another entry into the world. They like a soap that makes them feel clean and new. Yet another segment is the soap is soap group. They're the practicals. They'll buy the least expensive soap as long as they like the smell. However, we did find that fragrance is very important to just about everybody.
For that first group, we'll call them Pamper Yourselves. You could package it as a luxury item. The price should be at least double that of your average soap. People feel more pampered using something expensive. The ad would feature the most luxurious bathrooms. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Maybe start with a helicopter shot swooping down over a grand estate-size mansion. Inside, the servant draws water for the lady's bath. Of course, you will have to come up with a new brand name, perhaps something French-sounding, almost like a perfume or wine.
To capture the soap is soap segment, you could stress value. We position New Age as low cost, sell it for less than any other brand. We could also tie it in with environmental concerns and package it in a brown wrapper made from recycled paper. We could call it the organic soap, friendly to the environment and your skin too.
In this modern high-tech world of today, there's another effective technique that might surprise you. Magic. In the ancient worlds of myth and magic, characters routinely use magic wands or enchanted words to achieve instant and sometimes miraculous change. Do you think magic potions were popular only in the days before science? Myth and magic haven't died. They just moved to Madison Avenue. Advertising lives in a magical, mythical world where houses change size while you watch. Mops have magical abilities. Ghostly images haunt living rooms. And kids and toys can fly. Remember Cinderella, who was magically turned into a beautiful princess for a night? This idea of instant, almost magical improvement, the Cinderella syndrome, still lives in advertising. An instant change for the better is a regular feature of ads for personal care products, from soap to cold remedies to deodorant. In under 30 seconds, people who are miserable become content. The ugly turn more beautiful, and suffering is replaced by smiles. The idea of instant magical change is well suited to the world of TV advertising. Let's see how magic could be used to sell our soap.
The New Age name leads nicely to the idea of soap as giving new life. We could use the ancient concept of rebirth. We show people tired and worn out from work. They open a bar of New Age and take a shower, and it restores energy. Now they're ready for a night out. The soap is the magic that infuses the tired population with new life.
So far, we've shown you some of the techniques of psychographics, how advertisers tap into your feelings. Advertisers also use demographics. And demographics uses statistics to match people with products based on where they live, their education, and their earning power. Consider a typical TV audience. Network TV attracts huge audiences, but can't control the demographics. In other words, they don't know who watches. Let's say the green viewers are the people most likely to buy a pickup truck. In order to reach them, a truck maker has to run ads seen mostly by folks who never will buy any kind of truck. Those are the red viewers, and that's a waste of money. Now, TV can use programming to narrow the audience somewhat. Here's one example. During the football season, ABC shows a game on Monday nights. Advertising during the game is clearly aimed at males. Products advertised are most likely to be purchased by males, and ads are aimed at their psychological needs. Typical ads are for beer, power tools, men's jeans, and trucks. Celebrity endorsements are likely to be male sports stars. So a competing network might run a movie opposite the football game aimed primarily at women. Such programming is not designed to capture the largest audience, but to narrow the audience so advertisers have a clear choice. During this kind of counter-programming, ads include products aimed at women such as perfume, waffles, pies, pain remedies, shampoos, and detergents. Marketers use computerized databases to identify clusters of people most likely to use their products. They divide the country into about 40 clusters with names like Blue Blood Estates, Urban Gold Coast, Gray Power, New Melting Pot, Black Enterprise, Shotguns and Pickups, Heavy Industry, and Public Assistance. Blue Blood Estates, for example, is a cluster where 1 in 5 earns over $100,000 yearly, and houses often resemble mansions. Demographic study reveals this cluster is likely to play chess, buy imported champagne, and attend the theater often. They are more likely to subscribe to New Yorker and Architectural Digest. Another cluster is named Young Suburbia, the nesting ground for families. Researchers find young suburbans are 20% more likely to buy baked beans, frozen pizzas, and dry soup. They are 40% more likely to buy vinyl flooring, varnishes, and automatic garage door openers. Over 3/4 of young suburbans are Republican. Demographers know which clusters are most concentrated in each zip code. So knowing your zip code, they can make an educated guess about what you are most likely to buy, how much money you make, and even who you might vote for in the next election. So there you have it, psychographics and demographics, tools advertisers use to influence your buying decisions. These techniques of scientific marketing combine with appeals to myth and magic to produce contemporary ads, part of our electronic environment.